Anyway, so I wanted to have a conversation about Sonya Massey. A few things real quick before we even get started. And hopefully doesn't turn out to be a long video. But first off, I see a lot of people online talking about oh no, this was going to be another George Floyd. Why ain't they marching? And wondering why people ain't marching in the streets, supposedly destroying stuff. And that's because the cop was arrested and indicted. That was the problem with Breonna Taylor, with George Floyd, and others was the cops weren't arrested. Cops weren't indicted. They were put on administrative leave in an investigation while the investigation was going on. So we want justice. And part of justice is actually firing, arresting. That's the part of the process. So that's the reason why you don't see people all up in arms marching down the street. It's a tragedy. People are pissed off. People are tired of cops killing unarmed black people. But he got arrested. Okay? Next thing, these racist people, and I can't even say racist white people anymore, because the more and more I look online, it's not just white people that's being racist. It's Latinos. It's the bright-skinned ones, the ones who want to be white adjacent, who are saying a lot of racist comments too. I see the photos. Oh, let me throw this pot of water on the cop and see what happens, and a whole bunch of other ignorant stuff. Those are some clowns, and most of them are trolling clowns who don't show their face, who, when you engage with them, say more racist things and can't come up with a coherent thought. So I'm gonna ignore them, because if any of them was caught on the street, they wouldn't talk like that. And if they did, they probably wouldn't be here anymore. So enough about that. So let's get into the Sonya Massey situation. And I've seen some cops talk about it. I've seen regular people talk about it, civilians. But a lot of people are missing the point. And some of it they're hitting on, of course. She calls. She feels like there's an intruder or somebody in there and trying to get into her house. Cops show up. 2 deputies. One inside, the other one's walking around, looking around. They're looking, they don't find anything. Okay. That should have been your cue to leave. You didn't find anything. We'll hang around the area for a little bit and make sure nothing else is going on, and then we'll depart. But the big ogre, for some reason, was being extra. As far as the pot on the water, or the pot of boiling water on the stove, yeah, that could have been a hazard. So yeah, go turn that off or turn it down or something while we're here. We don't want a situation to occur. I can understand that. That's not a problem. That's not an issue for me. His tone, the way he acts towards her, and her response. A cop is a public servant. Yes, it must suck. It does suck being cussed at, being talked to a certain type of way. But that's part of your job. That's part of what you get paid for, to take that, right? So someone saying I rebuke you in the name of Jesus is not saying I'm going to kill you. I'm going to harm you. So that doesn't require a weapon being drawn. It doesn't require hostility. So he's already escalating the situation. He's already been escalating the situation, but he's escalating even more. And as a cop, you're taught to de-escalate. And as you see in a lot of videos, cops don't do that. They think escalation is the way to go. A lot of them are hopped up on testosterone pills and probably some other stuff, steroids and other things. And they want to power. They're so power hungry that they want to impose their power on other people. So they're so ready to look for a fight. They want to put their hands on somebody so damn bad. Whether, things ain't going good at home, they can't get it up, or their wife is actually the man of the house, or they're not getting anywhere at work, whatever it is, they have a hard-on for power and for physical harm. Now, let's talk about proximity. Where she was standing at, she would have been unable to do any harm with a pot of boiling water to the cop. So, and if you watch the video, that pot of boiling water never leaves the stove. It never leaves the stove. So, the cop, when you keep a safe distance, keeping a safe distance isn't moving forward, it's stepping back. You have that cop was so power hungry, as you can see when the shots are fired, that he steps in front of his partner. He's so, like my dog, I have an American bully, right? And when he's prey hungry, when he hit that prey drive, like when he sees a squirrel or a rabbit, like you try to snap him out of it and you can't. He's so focused, he's so drawn in. He wants that prey so bad. That was that cop. That cop was so focused on her and wanting to harm her so much that he even stepped in the line of fire of his partner. And luckily his partner didn't pull the trigger, or it would have been a friendly kill. Because he'd have shot him in the back, or in the back of the neck, or back of the head. So he's lucky that his partner had some restraint. Now, again, with the cop himself, you take a step back. You don't step in unless you're going in to do something. So if you're going in to handcuff somebody or to apply cooperative controls, then yes, you're stepping in, but you're not stepping in. You're not doing any of that. She hasn't done anything to warrant being detained or arrested. I'm sorry, but saying I rebuke you in the name of Jesus is not an offense that requires to be detained or arrested. It just ain't. It's not. Telling her you're going to shoot her in her head sounds like premeditated murder to me. Just saying, it sounds like premeditated murder. You are telling the individual, I am going to kill you, and then proceeds to kill the individual. So that is premeditated murder, not manslaughter, murder. All right, so back to her. So she leaves, she ducks down. Cop can't see her. Cop steps around to where he could see her, right? Why is your gun drawn? At what point did you feel like deadly force was authorized? You have a baton, you have pepper spray, you have a taser. Those are your cooperative controls, right? That's what you use to get someone to become compliant. In which case, I don't know what she was not compliant of. I don't know what orders, other than you telling her not to say, take that back, rebuking me in the name of Jesus, what did she do or was doing that required her to comply to you? So, drawing your gun only means you are intending to use deadly force because you feel like there's a threat to yourself or others of serious bodily harm or death. And I did not see that. You remember, you still have a partner. You're not the only one there. You still have a partner. It's a small woman, two men, one man being, I think from the reports, he's like 6 foot something. All right, I'm 6'1", 220. I'm sorry, a woman that's 5'6", 5'5", 5'4" is not intimidating me to where I need to pull a gun out. It's not happening unless she has a gun or a knife to where she's about to throw that knife at. She has the ability to throw that knife at me. No, I'm not intimidated. It's not happening. So his intent was wrong. Off rip, his intent was wrong. When she said that, that should have been, okay, well, thank you. Is there anything else you need at this time? We're gonna go outside. We'll stay outside for like a few minutes to make sure nobody else is around, and then we'll depart from there. Is there anything else you need from us? That was your cue to leave. You should have already left. You had plenty of cues to leave. But that should have been the last cue to go. So why not use your taser? If you felt like she might have threw the pot of boiling water at you, why not use your taser? Why not order her to turn around and put her hands behind her back? Or put her hands in the air? I'm just wondering, because there's certain procedures that you utilize when doing things like this that you were supposed to utilize in that situation, you did not. So let's just say, right, she does pick up the pot of water and goes to throw it, right? If you keep a safe distance, how far is she actually throwing a boiling pot of water, for one? If she's running at you, you know, if you have a taser, you could tase her ass and serious bodily harm would happen to her. But it wouldn't have been death. So I'm just trying to, I'm lost in confusion with those who feel like it was justified. Because if you look at serious bodily harm or death, right? This is what you feel someone is going to do, is doing to you, or about, or has the ability to do to you, right? So even though they're not, like if I have my gun drawn at you, right? And my finger's on the trigger, and I'm telling you I'm gonna shoot you. I haven't committed serious bodily harm or death yet, but I have the opportunity, the capability, and from my verbal cues, the intent to do so. So now you're defending yourself against serious bodily harm or death. Let me see something real quick. I want to make sure that I don't know how close I am to the camera. I can't see. I'm using my good cameras this time. So if that's the case, right? So if those weren't, and we're talking about intent, opportunity, and capability, that's the old use of force model, right? Does the individual have the intent? Do they want to do harm to you, right? Do they have the opportunity based off of whatever they have? Like say if they have a knife, but you're 100 feet away, they don't have the opportunity. They can't hit you from 100 feet with a knife, right? Now, if they have a gun, you know, something different. All right. And capability. Do they have the capability based off of what they have to do it? Like you're 6'5", she's 5'6". You know, she's skinny, you're big, strong. Like, in order to have the capability, you know, other than a gun, I don't know what else she would have the capability of causing you serious bodily harm or death with. I mean, if she had acid on her hand or a bomb, then yeah, okay, but none of those were in this situation. So when you go off of that model itself, there was nothing in place that gave you the opportunity to shoot Sonya Massey. Nothing. If you went through your training. Now, if we use other use of force models, like I said, there was no threat of serious bodily harm or death to the officer. So that goes out the window as well, right? And you could always escalate to deadly force based on the scenario. You don't have to go through each step, but it has to be the perimeters for that to occur, right? It's just like somebody who's in handcuffs, right? You have them in handcuffs, you can't do serious bodily harm or kill the individual while they're in handcuffs because they're unable to do any of that to you. So why are you escalating more than the situation? Use cooperative controls, right? You yank up on the handcuffs. You know, you might have to pepper spray the individual, and that's far reaching. Maybe tase them, whatever it is, if they're non-compliant. Usually, I'm telling you, if you know what you're doing as a cop, those handcuffs on most people, unless you're drugged out and you can't feel pain at the time, trust me, pulling up on the handcuffs, just that twist on the handcuffs on the wrist, 95 to 97% of people, I even say 99% of people, are going to comply if you do it right. And trust me, it does not take much. You got your hands on the chain and you twist up like that, boy, you will come up quick. I'm telling you from experience. I'm telling you from what we used to do in practice. Hey, you would be in training and the instructor would tell the bad guy, hey, he gets you in handcuffs, I need you to be non-compliant. Okay. And you'll do it, or they'll do it, and then hey, and them boys will stop real quick. I promise you that is true. So again, we're not marching. Things aren't getting destroyed, even though that was Antifa. Trust me, I went to a march. I went to a couple marches in DC when George Floyd was killed. And the people who were the most aggressive and violent were Antifa. I'm not saying that because a lot of people say, oh, it was Antifa this. They were literally, I talked to some of them, yes, Antifa. They were all dressed, they were white guys, and I seen a couple white girls, all dressed in black. They were the ones, when you had the riot control cops, they were the ones beating on their shields. They were the ones throwing stuff at cop cars, spray painting stuff. That was a lot of them. Now, after they did whatever they did, like say they went and broke into a store, did a lot of people take the opportunity to do the same thing and go in there and take stuff? Yes, they did. I'm not condoning that at all. But that's who we're doing it, right? So that's why people aren't marching, again, because he was indicted. He was arrested. Now, if he wasn't arrested and he was put on administrative leave while they did an investigation because he allegedly shot and killed somebody, then yeah, we'd be marching in the street right now. But let me, while I'm on that note real quick, I hate going down rabbit holes, but stop saying allegedly when you see the video. There's no allegedly, okay? It happened. It is clear as day. No interruption. No, we didn't use no DaVinci Resolve. We didn't use no Final Cut Pro, no Premiere Pro to edit the video. He shot and killed her. She was not a threat, okay? So stop that. And for all the racist people, man, y'all got to get over y'all. I don't know what it is, what the hate is in your blood, the hate in your system, why you feel so inferior that you got to hate people like that. Because guess what? There's ignorant people everywhere. There's drug users in every ethnicity, right? White, Indian, black, Hispanic, you know, you can go down the list. Drug users. There's rapists, there's pedophiles. Some groups have more pedophiles than others. There's gangs, MS-13. What about all the mobs? What about the Yakuza? What about, there's everything in every group of people, all right? Some groups, there's more of other things than others based off of environment, based off of upbringing, stuff like that. But I don't know what the reason is to where you don't know Sonya Massey, you don't know the cop, you're not related to the cop to the point where you feel like, oh, he's unjustly been arrested or whatever, and you make posts disparaging black people, black or brown people, for no reason at all. Like, you literally have social media groups and claim it to be free speech. No, it's hate speech. It's a hate speech group literally talking, we was kings and queens and we built this and we started it. Like, you have literally posts in groups where that's all y'all do is that. Or we're not even talking about the video games, how y'all act in Call of Duty lobbies and everything else. The first word y'all spout is the N-word because you have a limited vocabulary, I guess. But again, Sonya Massey, RIP. I feel sorry for her family. I feel sorry for her friends, loved ones, children, anyone who is affected by this death. For real. For the cops. Y'all keep saying it's a few bad apples, but it looks like it's the system is just bad, and and it breeds bad apples. If the soil is bad, then the tree more likely going to be bad, and the apples and the fruit that bear from that tree are going to be bad as well. So until y'all fix y'all system, it ain't gonna be continuing. The good apples are seeming to be the far and in between. It seems like there's way more bad apples on this tree than there are good apples. So if there's 100 apples, it seems like only 25 of those apples are good apples, and 75% of them are bad. So unless y'all like bad apples, people driving crazy for no reason, like I said. Unless you just like bad apples, then we need to do something to fix this. All right. Again, this was supposed to be a rooftop talk, but there's too many bugs out there, and these people out here driving crazy and doing stupid stuff for no reason. So I want to say I appreciate it. Thank you. This is on Unapologetically Confused YouTube channel, and then I think I'm posting it to my Bearded Bully on TikTok. So thank you again for listening. Get down in the comments, tell me how you feel. Am I wrong? Did I miss something? Ain't none of that racist shit. If you got some racist shit to say, I'm gonna ignore it. I'm not gonna listen to you. We can have an intellectual conversation, but in order to have an intellectual conversation, you have to have intellect. Okay? And if you are first words out your mouth is N-word this, N-word that, or you people need to go home, you have no intellect. So we can't have a conversation. All right, talk to you later. Peace.